how you doing? It's me, Dr. Benjy FM, but you can call me Ben. Go on, feel free. So I did plan on doing the network game with Jack, the space, this day, today, Thursday, but sadly he's busy. So what I thought I'd do is a little bit of a get to know you session. I thought I'd do a Q&A. I asked Twitter and my stream for a few questions, and they've come back kindly. So what we'll do is we'll run through a few of the questions. In the background, what you can see is my stream save. So I stream every day on Twitch TV from about 2 PM, well, every weekday, from about 2 PM till about 5 PM, depending on how fun it is and how it's going. But generally speaking, that's when I stream. Sometimes I do evening streams, so look out for me then. Twitch.tv/Dr. Benjy. So that's where you can find me. And that's what you're watching in the background, doing a Liverpool save. It was like a Life After Louis save. When he left, I thought, you know what, we'll do a Life After Louis save. It's a few years deep now, so there's games against Manchester United and Arsenal that you can have a little look at. So then, let's get into a few questions. I thought I'd start off with some generic stuff, just so you can understand what's going on. So I'm 23 years old. I'm 24 on Monday, actually, on the 1st. So, not hint, hint, you know. Yeah. Before starting to do these videos and what have you, and streaming, I dedicated most of my time to either like writing about football or proofreading for a lot of other writers. I also dabbled in doing statistical analysis for various web outlets, football-wise, and that was fun. You know, it's something different and interesting. So that's kind of what I've been doing for the last few years. But now I want to do this. This is kind of something not as a job per se. I'll still do the other things because it's, you know, it's useful. I've got a girlfriend. I feel this is important because people from my stream will know of Ellie. I've been with for nearly 6 years. 6 years next month. Terrifying. So anyway, there are a few questions from Twitter. So Vigo asks, how are you enjoying your YouTube career so far? Which I found to be quite a funny question, because some of you may know, most of you probably won't know. I did have a YouTube channel doing vlogging. I was part of the vlogging scene from like early 2008 to about 2012-ish, when I don't want to say I jacked it in, but it gets to a point where you just don't want to do it anymore, and I got to that point of not really wanting to do it anymore. So there is a channel. You can probably guess what the first name of that was, so feel free to go have a look. But in terms of doing this, I'm really enjoying this. I hope this lasts, because I'm so excited by this. I love editing the videos, I love making the videos, there's everything about it I'm really enjoying. The comments you guys are leaving on the first few videos, the feedback I got on the first one especially, was crazy, so thank you so much. To hit, I think it was like 130 likes on that video. That's so cool. So so thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. The next question, Ben Boyce. When did you start your first YouTube channel, and how old were you when you started it? So YouTube kind of was created or was made in 2005, and me and Jack were at the space we're looking the other day, and my first channel was created in June 2006, so I'd have been 16. So I'd have been 15 when I first made that channel. So I've been on YouTube for quite a while, just watching different sorts of things. I went through different phases. Like the big thing on YouTube when it first started up was like lip syncing videos that were quite funny. I dabbled, I'm not gonna lie. Not on my first channel, I made another channel, but it was interesting how YouTube's kind of evolved. It went very kind of sort of weird pop culture-y things like lip syncing, and then it went to kind of the vloggers took over, and it became about celebrity and whatnot, and then it became gaming more recently. I think you look at the most subscribed YouTuber is PewDiePie, and he's got like endless amounts of subscribers, and he's far and away the biggest doing predominantly gaming stuff. So it's nice to see how it's kind of evolved, and being able to watch it from 15 to 23, 24 it's crazy, really. The next question is from Jack Walsh. He said, what was your first FMCM and which was your favourite? So the first one I played, actually, before I played Championship Manager or Football Manager, there was a game called Player Manager. I had it on an old computer. I'll put some screenshots on the screen, actually, because it was an amazing game. The match engine was just as good as this right now, to be honest. I don't know if anyone played it. It was called I think it was called Player Manager 2000. It was such a weird game. But once I found Championship Manager 0102, I think for a lot of people that was their kind of first love of Championship Manager as it was then, and I played the shit out of that game. I'm not gonna lie, I loved that game at the age of 10, 11. It was just like my favourite game. If I could get it to run on my PC, I would play it all the time now. I remember I did saves with Liverpool, Real Madrid and Roma, with like Montella and Totti. Oh, it was so good. It was such a good game. And I'm sure if I played it now, it would be a little bit underwhelming, but at the time, I remember thinking, I'm never going to need another game, so I'm going to continue playing this. And I probably did for about the next 3 years. I don't think I bought things like Championship Manager 4, which came out not long after. So yeah, and that was arguably one of my favourite. I do quite like this year's game actually, and I'm hoping I like FM15 just as much. But that first one, I think the first love is always your favourite with games. I think people feel that way about Call of Duty and things like that. COD 4 was like the one everyone loved, and it was predominantly the first Call of Duty a lot of people played. So, if I could add one feature to FM15, what could it be? Now that's quite a tricky question. That comes from Fams at Fams YouTube, or YT, which I'm assuming is YouTube. And there are, for me, and I've said this on streams numerous times, that I don't really want one major feature to blow everything else out of the water. What I would like is a better online function. I think FM would grow massively if online became a thing. So I would love the online features of FM. Some of you may not even know like they exist, but the network game feature isn't that good right now. It's a little bit prone to crashing and having a few problems and errors. It's a little bit slow if you play with more than 2 people as well. And I'd like to see them develop that and make it a better game and make it more fun to play. In terms of everything else, I know everyone calls for a new match engine, but it's not really as simple as that. I just want to see improvements, small improvements to make the whole game better. I don't want to see drastic change because people don't like change. So I want to see little things happen and change and evolve, and that'll be the way I want to see FM go in the future anyway. So for me, that would be the perfect ideal. But like, I've played numerous network games this year, and it's hard to go more than a year because one, they take so long, and I'm not sure how you fix that really, and two, they can get stale quickly if one of your people, like if one of the people you're playing with isn't doing as well as the others, they kind of lose interest, which makes it really difficult to continue it. It's like the amount of network games I've started and not played more than 6 months is just, you know, it's not fun. So I want them to include an online portion, and I know they're doing something in Korea with that, and they may bring it into Europe and the other parts of the world, but it needs to happen for FM to evolve, I think. The next question is from Harry J, who asks, how long have you supported Liverpool and why do you support them? Well, why I support them, I'm not entirely sure. It was just one of those things when I was like 5 or 6. There's pictures of me when I was 5 or 6 wearing a Liverpool shirt, and I was born in Boston and I moved to Norfolk, and I've not really ever been attached. Weirdly, I've never felt attached to a team, but from the age of about 6 or 7, 5 or 6, whatever it was, I've always liked Liverpool. And then you grow from liking that team and liking the players of that team to loving that team, and now I'm at that stage where I just like everything about them. You just embody them, and I find that really kind of sweet about being a football fan. And I know people who like support their local clubs, just like, well, you should support your local team. But if I have sort of a massive affection for another set of individuals, then that kind of speaks for itself, and I think that's enough reason to support a team and want them to do well. So there's my explanation, I think. There's my guilty, is what I should be saying. What games do you play other than FM? Call of Duty, FIFA, kind of the generic games that are out. I've been dabbling in a bit of CSGO with a few members of the FM community, and I'm terrible. But I'm hoping to get better. hopefully get better. But Roller Coaster Tycoon, Player Manager 2000, no. There's like, I play all sorts of games really. Generally sports games. I'm not into the big kind of like fantasy. I can't think what the phrase is now. I don't play any MOBAs. Well, Age of Empires, if you can count that. I used to love that game. So yeah, that. And then the final question is, what's For The Fans? Which was asked by Jack, who's my co-host for For The Fans, which is a weekly now football podcast. We did it during the World Cup, and it was a daily thing. And people really, really enjoyed it. People really responded to it well, so that was great. It did really well on iTunes. We were picked up by BBC Radio Manchester. They got us on 3 times a week to talk about the World Cup. And now we've taken a kind of weekly step, so it gives people a chance to look at it. So I might as well plug it, because why wouldn't I plug it? So have a look round on I'm forgetting the links. I run it. forthefanshow.com, For The Fans Show on Twitter, For The Fans Show on YouTube. I'll put some links in the description to the video. Finally, I'd just like to say thank you for the questions. If you've got any future questions, please leave them on this video. So if I ever need to do a Q&A video again, I can reference this video. If there's any questions that I can answer immediately, like what face pack do I use, what skin do I use, the basic one, just to clear that up, I use the basic one, then I'll answer those in the comments anyway. But yeah, for future reference, leave your questions in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you at another time. Goodbye.